Good morning, guys. It is a beautiful Friday morning here in Akron, Ohio, and I've got my big booming morning voice on, my James Earl Jones voice. Luke, I am your father. I wanted to come on this morning and talk about Neil Donald Walsh's concept of God being pure love. I love this image, this definition of God being pure love. In anything that's pure, there is no anomaly, because purity itself means that it is 100% one thing. And God being pure love is a great definition. In the book of John, it says, no fear can exist in pure love. And in but the Bible, it says, "Lo, that I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me." And I shall fear no evil, for love is with me, for pure love is with me. And it's a reminder to us that fear is really an illusion. Fear is really an experience of choice. In Sufism, they talk about God being on one side of a veil, and we're on the other side of the veil, and our life is the struggle against the veil, and the veil is our own fears. But they're our own fears. They're not of God. They're the fears of the experience. Now, for me, I truly believe that fear is an illusion of the lack of pure love of God. And I think the illusion of the lack of the pure love of God is a tool that we use to experience God fully, because without knowing the absence, or knowing the opposite, or having a baseline to measure against, we could never experience pure love of God. And so, to me, when I look at the concepts of God being pure love, I 100% agree with it. I love Neale's perception on it. And when we were speaking on Spirit Cafe, it was one of those moments where I was so excited about it, because of the fact that I could feel the pure love. And what I found really interesting was we had a couple different comments about that interview. And by the way, Neale's coming on the John of New channel to have an easy conversation with me. We're recording that at the beginning of next month, so Neale will be back. But I had two very distinct responses that I wanted to mention. One was what somebody was very judgmental of Neale, saying that he wasn't showing me pure love, and that he was showing a little too much pure love to Tamara, right? And neither one of us felt that at all. But what I thought was interesting was this person was very much in a state of protecting us, in a way, looking out for us. And the other thing is that they were looking at Neale from a perspective of, this person is doing this terrible thing, not giving John love, and he's a little too much loving for Tamara, and really judging it that way. I had someone else who came at me and said that I was using Neale to become famous, or to push myself out there, and push my own career. I was using him to get there. And when I thought of that one, I realized that person was just protecting Neale. They were afraid for Neale, and offended by some conceived intent that was not there. And I didn't feel that way. Tamara didn't feel that way. And Neale, like I said, is coming back to the John of New channel in a couple weeks, and he actually suggested, not us, he suggested that he would come back on our on Spirit Cafe 2 or 3 times a year which is wonderful. We'd love to have Neale back, right? But he suggested that, so he wasn't obviously feeling attacked in any way, shape, or form either. I find the man to be highly intelligent. I find within him a kindred spirit in a way. But what I find most interesting about the encounter of it all is my experience in that situation was pure love. Now, pure love can come with a little bit of poking fun, a little bit of poking fun. Neale is a recovered Catholic, just like I am, and his humor is very much like my family's humor. I totally get his humor because it is literally very much how my family would have responded. So to me, it was like talking to a family member. Tamara thought he was just lovely and wonderful, and when we finished our conversation, we just gushed with, he hung up the phone and we just gushed over the whole thing. The whole thing gave us a feeling of pure love. The whole experience gave us a feeling of pure love. But each person is going to look at the experience and judge from their own definitions of pure love, and the judgment comes from a lack of pure love, in my opinion. They can't see it because their focus is on looking for something wrong, looking for the anomalies. And the essence of pure love, in my mind, is literally defined unconditionally. It's unconditional love. There's no conditions. There's nothing within it that would take it away from being love. And so when I go through life, I look for that. I look for that in all peoples. And when I see people who aren't demonstrating that, then it's my job to be pure love for them, to not judge them, to not attack them, to not belittle them, but to show them what love really is by loving them first. Oftentimes people will come to me and they're having problems with family members and arguing and they're like debating, how, if they can even continue the relationship. And I give them that same technique I've talked about in other videos about stopping, taking a breath, saying, no matter what you do or say, I'll always love you. And it always breaks down the relationship back to a positive state. And the reason that works is because that is a completely pure loving statement. That is a completely pure love statement. That is God. That is the definition of God. That pure love statement, that unconditionally loving intent is God. And the idea of looking for God, the source outside of us, is almost insanity, because the Father in you, then I say the Father, I don't even like that phrase, because I don't like the patriarchy of that. I don't like the gender bias of that. I think that there is no gender in God. But you and God are one. And being so, then you have to be the representation of God. You have to be the pure love. You have to be the one who, when you don't see pure love, delivers pure love first. You're the one who is manifesting God into this planet, into this society, into this world. And when you yourself step into the role of creating from the unconditionally loving space, the pure love space, then you are bringing God to the world, because God, as Neale said, is pure love. And I really think that more people need to realize that they are the creator of the experience. They are God. And when they realize that they themselves can choose pure love over fear, then they can bring a loving world. And then how do we do that? Well, I talk about it all the time. I talk about living loving. Live loving. And when people around you aren't, live loving more. because the more loving and caring and pure love you are, the more God you bring into the world and into them. And your job, as I said many times, is not to save the world. Your job is to make your part of the world so bright with pure love that they see what you have and resonate with that and become pure loves themselves. So you guys have a great day. Go out there and live loving, and we will talk to you soon. See ya. Bye. Thank you, my friends, for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure that you've subscribed and you like it, you share it, but also comment below it. Let's get this community talking about these topics and spreading this information out far and wide so we can change the world for the better. Thank you.